Mr. Rhimes claimed he was in the orca pool room, so he could not make these statements. But the truth must be he was at the show stage, just as Dr. Graham and Sasha testified. I believe that brings us back around to the orca didn't do it. I didn't believe the witness testimony from the outset. I am grateful to you, Wright Dono, for shutting the witness up, as I thought the only person who could have killed the victim is Sasha Buckler. That fact still remains whether the witness was the one who tried to kill the orca or not. Son of a... Mr. Rhimes was right about one thing. His testimony was advantageous to our case, but pointing out the contradiction in his test statement will only drive us into a corner. As Prosecutor Blackwell said, suspicion against Miss Buckler is now deepened. Uh-oh, if I don't do something fast, the judge is going to find Sasha guilty. Mr. Wright, isn't there anything we can do? There has to be a way to prove out Sasha is innocent. At a time like this, the thing to do is turn my thinking around. Instead of trying to prove that Sasha couldn't have done it, I have to think about what made it possible for somebody else to have done it. As long as the crime scene is the orca's pool room, and Sasha is the only one who could have committed the crime. No need for pity or boldness, just finish him off with a swift verdict. Peter's defense has no objections. Very well, I will give my verdict.
Hold it!
Your Honor, please hold off on that verdict. But you are so quiet, Mr. Wright. Do you have something to say now? The defense has a counter-argument. You do? Pitiful such desperation. You look pale. Are you sure you're prepared to make this counter-argument? A lawyer is someone who smiles, no matter how bad it gets. I'll never forget those words, no matter how many years go by. Even though it's probably just a bluff, I'll give it to them with a smile. What if the scene of the crime was somewhere else? The scene of the crime? Somewhere else? What? You're finding fault with the police investigation now? As I understand it, the prosecution argument is as follows. The scene of the crime was the orca pool. Only the defendant and victim entered that room when there was no water in the pool. Therefore, only the defendant could have committed the crime. That is correct. But the scene of the crime was not the orca pool room. Then somebody other than the defendant could have committed the crime. Are you sure you know where you're going with this? I might not be too sure, but I can't back down now. Mr. Wright, I hope that I'm wrong, but this isn't one of your bluffs by any chance. Ha ha ha, of course not. The judge knows me far too well. And do you have a theory on where the actual scene of the crime was? Think, Phoenix, think. Think of a place other than the orca pool room where one could fall to one's death.
Take that!
The show stage pool might have been drained of water at some point as well, and if so, it would be just as possible for the ones that there is the orca pool. Right, Dono. What you're doing is a disgrace to your profession. I sincerely hope you have some basis for what you're suggesting. Of course I do. I will as soon as I think of something. The victim's body was found in the orca pool. How do you explain that?
Objection!
How about if after the victim was killed in the show stage pool, his body was moved to the orca pool? How about if... What kind of presentation of your argument is that? You had better have a reasonable explanation of how the body was moved. There's no turning back now. I have to think of the way the body could have been moved. Oh, oh. Right here, right here, right here.
Take that!
The hoist runs between the orca pool room and the show stage. The structure can be hung from the hoist to move things like Orla or the Skull Rock. The structure could have also been used to move the dead body. Yes, the structure can move the orca or Skull Rock. It seems likely it could also move a dead body as well. Wow, somehow that worked. I just might be able to pull this off.
Objection!
You desperately spew conjecture and now you even make up a crime scene? Ah! Eek! Not again! You don't have the soul of a warrior. You don't deserve to be on the battlefield. And even your fabrication is half-baked. It's a disgrace. What do you mean half-baked? The hoist can be operated from the orca pool room only. Gah! And the only person who entered the orca pool room was the defendant. So even if the body was moved, the only one who could have moved it was the defendant herself. No! Order? So it comes back to the defendant no matter which pool it was. Meaning I can't clear Sasha either way. Sasha said she moved to Orlando Skull Rock. And I believe her. So could it possibly that she moved the body herself without being aware of it? Mr. Wright, do you have an objection to Prosecutor Blackwell's claim? It says no, as an objection. Well, just the... Oh. Oh. What? Mr. Wright, are you admitting the defendant committed the murder? No. I'm simply conceding that she was the only one who could have moved the body. However, I contend Miss Buckler was not aware that she was doing. The culprit made her move it, being obvious to her. The defendant moved a dead body without recognizing that it was a dead body? How could that be possible? Found the orca pool. It must have been moved there somehow. It might find some hint of thing. The Skull Rock? Miss Buckler told me yesterday that she moved the Skull Rock when she was clean. The only two things Miss Buckler moved to the Orca Pool are Roller and the Skull Rock. I would like to suggest that the victim's body may have been inside the Skull Rock. What? Hidden inside the rock, the body could have been moved to the Orca Pool with a hoist. Tuesday, Marlon Rhimes loaded up the Skull Rock with the body inside. And then he used the walkie-talkie to let Miss Buckler know the rock was loaded. Miss Buckler operated the hoist from the Orca Pool room and moved the stretcher. She moved the rock without knowing the body was inside. Do you really think there's enough space inside the Skull Rock to place a body? Slash Buckler flyer indicates that it could be possible. Please focus on the question at the bottom left. Oh, it says who will obtain the gold coins hidden in the Skull Rock? In that case, the rock is most likely hollow. What's more, if the body was inside the Skull Rock, it explains the remaining unanswered questions. Such as? The security footage of the scene Ms. the Plume witnessed. Where did the body that Ms. the Plume saw come from? Please recall, what was Orla doing in the Skull Rock at this time? She was headbutting it. Oh! That's right, Orla's ramming released the body from the Skull Rock. The body had been placed inside the Skull Rock and moved there from the show stage. I assert that the real murder scene was in the fact the show stage pool.
Silence!
What rubbish is this now? You don't have a single scrap of it.
Objection!
It's easy enough to verify what I say to take a look inside the Skull Rock for yourself. You should find some kind of proof that the body was there. Blood, fibers, hair. Right, don't know. Who did it, though? Mr. Wright, that was incredible. You turned things completely around. And to think, it's all started with that half-baked bluff, too. Phew, that was a close one. Did you really have to add that last bit? The murder took place at the show stage, then who is the perpetrator? It is naturally the person who was at the show stage. Mr. Rhimes, weren't you the one who loaded the Skull Rock onto the stretcher at the show stage? Wow, Mr. Wright, that was some pretty smart brain work you did that. To be honest, I never thought you could figure it out. I tried to protect myself, but I guess it came back to bite me. Are you confessing you gave false testimony before, Mr. Rhimes? That's perjury! Yeah, what Mr. Wright says is true. The body was inside the Skull Rock, and it's true the captain was killed in the show pool, too. What? He's admitting to that easy? This time, I'm going to tell you the whole truth about what happened that day. The whole truth. Okay, this might be it. In the show pool, the orca shot the captain up into the air. Then the captain came down and slammed into the water. I can still remember the spectator screams clearly. All Sasha did was move the body. She was trying to protect the orca. Mr. Plume witnessed the orca finding the body. I freaked. So now we're back to the orca again, I see. If you were going to give testimony like that, why did I bother putting you on the stand? All I'm doing is telling the truth. That day, Sasha wanted to be the old version of the Swashbuckler Spectacular. So I suggested she hide the body in the Skull Rock and move it to the orca pool. I was gonna figure out what to do with the body after the show was over. The orca is the one that killed the captain. It wasn't me, and it wasn't Sasha. So it was Mr. Rhimes' idea to hide the body in the Skull Rock. But if Mr. Rhimes is the culprit, why would he protect Sasha? False charges against Sasha would mean he himself would escape suspicion. So why? Mr. Wright, how about if you leave this to me? Athena, do you mean you heard something? Yup, noise, discord in Mr. Rhimes' heart. So that means somewhere in his testimony, there's an inconsistency in his emotions. Alright, Athena, give him a good counseling session. You got it, boss. Huh? What's this? What are you getting at, Athena? This testimony is pretty complex. Feelings of deep sadness and intense anger are being called up. Those two emotions appear to be running out of control. Out of control emotions, is that going to be a problem? We'll have to probe their cause if we want to get this true testimony. There might even be an odd or unnatural spots of his testimony he isn't even aware of. Alright, let's probe the cause of his out of control emotions. I'll explain how to probe. Let's... Oh, okay. I doubt there were any spectators there at the show stage where the owner died. If there had been, those witnesses would have told us the true crime scene right away. What? Alright, of course, I just made a mistake. Okay, that made the sadness subside, so maybe the spectators part was what was making him sad. Wonder why he would make that mistake saying spectators were there. How strange. The only thing I can't think of is that he was mixing up one memory with another. Like he was in a similar situation before and it was deeply imprinted on his heart. Situation where an orca killed somebody and there were spectators there? Hey! I think I know why he's mixing up his memories. The reason why Mr. Rhimes